you in the light, my friend. There have been no more attacks from inside the walls. I spoke my heart words to all who would hear. We have no anger within us. We will not be led to violence, no matter how wide the path. We now must focus on the Vex. The machines do not stop to consider our situation, and neither should you. I can still improve your gauntlet, and your Splicer training must continue. Do not waste your energies on us. My Lakshmi have been through much, but cruel words and thoughtless deeds will not break us. Let us continue our work. Splicer Gauntlet is not only a weapon, it is a tool for reforming reality.
After many centuries, the Fallen are still full of surprises.
The Lakshmi have much to give in service of the great machine.
We succeed for a third time, and yet nothing has changed with the Endless Night. Why is that, Mithrax?
Each time the Guardian destroys a Vex mind in control of a domain, the remaining Vex carry the leftover burden.
And how many of these minds do you think are left to share that burden?
That is unclear.
Then we should focus our efforts on finding the central Vex mind guiding them. Osiris, how is that coming along?
Slowly. Lakshmi and Mithrax's splicers are diligently working with data the Guardian has recovered. But the Vex mind, at the source of the Endless Night, remains elusive.
We need to move quickly. The simulation is draining the city's energy. I won't stand by and watch our lightless civilians continue to suffer.
Ikora, I don't intend to let that happen.
We will work harder. We will find a way. The light provides.
I like her book. Elder Hussein says hollow. I have thought much on Mithrax's story. We do monstrous things to fight monsters. It seems simple then. When the city first formed, Titans were the walls. We did not think of our enemies when we fought. We thought only of protecting our people. Survival until the next day, no matter how. To be seen as a terror, a destroyer. To know children tremble in fear at my name and mourn what I have taken from them. This is not the Saint 14 I know. I can never forgive what the old houses did to us. But these are not the old houses. They are dead. What do we gain from more death? This lashing out against defenseless people. It is the act of a coward. Mithrax risked much to trust us. If his House of Light can forgive, perhaps we must try to see the Fallen, Lakshmi, as they see themselves. Or none of us will ever be anything but monsters. We must be more than the enemies of our enemies.
to check in with Saint.
I see you have overcome the Vex again. We are both doing what we must. I have not spoken with the Saint, but I believe hearing my story softened him somehow. I saw one of our young run across his path. The Saint raised a hand in greeting, and the hatchling recoiled and fled. The Saint watched it run. The reaction seemed to wound him. I will reach out to this child. She acted out of fear and was unkind. She should know the image of the Saint we use to chase evil is only a story. If we are to survive this long night, we must be able to see one another as what we truly are. Lakshmi of the House Light. Hear Mithrax now. I know many of you feared this place. You have seen death at the hands of the Guardians. It was right to expect death in their house. But I said, and say again, that if we help them, they will help us. And here we are, alive. It is true that some have attacked our new home. It is true that some try to share their hate with us. It is always so. But if Lakshmi feel darkness inside, only look up to see the great machine, and know that House of Light is blessed.
We're all blessed to have such friends in dark times. Humanity will not allow these hateful and ignorant acts to define us. We will prove it by bringing those responsible to justice.
Walk the path of hardship with joy in your hearts. Be brave.
Ikora Ray strode into the future war cult headquarters. It had the air of a church hushed and reverent, but the air of sanctity was undercut by the intrusion of Vex technology. Wires climbed like vines across the ceiling, and the air was filled with the faint smell of ozone. In the middle of the room, reclining on a seat reminiscent of both throne and operating table, was Lakshmi-2. Her face was obscured by a helmet that connected to the mess of wiring above. Studious cultists shuffled about with their heads bowed, glancing suspiciously at Ikora. As the warlock advanced, a cultist held up a single finger, commanding both silence and patience. Ikora's eyes narrowed. The cultist whispered into a small microphone next to the device. Its subaudible hum had been inconspicuous, but once it powered down, the quiet felt overwhelming to Ikora. Lakshmi sat in repose, presumably orienting herself in the current timeline. "Leave us," she said without opening her eyes. "We'll resume at 14:25. Her subordinates filtered from the room, looking past Ikora as if she were invisible. Lakshmi finally opened her eyes, and fixed them on the warlock. "I assume you're here to bargain." "I'm not." Ikora's tone was calm and cold. "I'm here to issue a warning of my own." "Warn me." Lakshmi laughed, her voice thin. "If we have any further incidents on account of your incitement, I will personally find a remote, icy moon to leave you on." Lakshmi tooted. Only small minds classify prophecy as provocation. She stood up and smoothed her garments. Certainty in the face of the unknown is the provenance of zealots. Ikora eyed the device. And the insane. This isn't a debate. And yet, you are still here. Come, Ikora, you've not seen what I have. Lakshmi gestured to the device. The Botsa district under assault for a second time. Saint 14, pinned down by gunfire. And you. She trailed off, screaming for help over the comms. How many of your prophecies have gone unfulfilled, Lakshmi? Ikora snapped. I wish you could hear yourself, how afraid you sound. All those years studying under Osiris, and you're still so naive, Lakshmi replied. Ikora's anger flared. She advanced on the cult leader. Cut the BS, or suffer the consequences, understand? Undaunted, Lakshmi's artificial eyes shone bright. Understood. Ikora stepped back and let her anger pass out of her with a sigh. Then we're done here. She turned on her heels and strode out. As she left, Ikora wondered whose prophecy she had just fulfilled, Lakshmi's or her own.